usual, when you get first time, we also do preparation. As an academician, whenever we have lecture, we do prepare for the session. I do prepared my session on how to reinvent your business model. I had a good sleep when I woke up in the early morning, when I saw the newspaper. There are many interesting news today in the newspaper. One of the news impressed me. How one of the brand, when they started a booking, 1 hour they could able to sell 1,76,000 vehicle. Literally, if we talk about close to 2,933 vehicles sold in 1 minute. If we talk about every second, they sold 49 Thar vehicle. I am absolutely amazed to see that the brand Mahindra, when they launched a Thar, how they could able to sell. Something interesting today when we talk about, everywhere we read different newses, but I saw that how that Mahindra and Mohammed, the company became Mahindra and became world largest portfolio they have in the segment of SUV. I still remember, if I put it in layman language, in the 1990s, the share price of Mahindra just 5 rupees. If could I invested 10,000 rupees in the year, 1990, today I could be owner of, 65 lakhs. This company could be able to create the brand, and their core business was supposed to be farm equipments. They used to produce tractors. One of the largest customers are agriculture and Air India and Airport Authority, because aircraft doesn't have a reverse gear. So they used to buy this aircraft in the airports. But today, how the company could be able to transform, become one of the world largest SUV bike manufacturer. The company could have reinvented their business model. The credit goes to the entire. Is it necessary to reinvent their businesses? From tractor to farm equipments. In fact, when I teach marketing, when I started my career, I used to teach marketing. Today I teach whenever I feel, even that 4 P's need to be reinvented. Today customer doesn't want the basic core product. Even in the tractor, if you talk about, today farmer doesn't want just tractor. If you give the tractor to the farmer, may not be keen to buy the product what he wanted. Then what farmer expected in the tractor? Today the product should have physical component, the core product. If you deliver to the customer, people may not get impressed by that. Possibly the customer may expect beyond your core product. That is, you are expected an augment. For an example, I don't want a tractor. I want my tractor should have hardware, software, technology and interactive communication technology into my vehicle. That means hardware, software, when I talk about Bluetooth. Now I am a farmer, why should I have a Bluetooth in my vehicle? No, my vehicle should have weather condition. I could able to talk to my vehicle with my mobile. I should know seed optimization. I could able to know my quality of the soil. Now, am I a tractor company or a technology company? Now the question comes, as a Mahindra, how can I able to move it? But if you see across the industry, the successful players could able to reinvent their businesses. For an example, if you talk about the brand Bablot or Ralph Lauren, today they talk about the Ralph Lauren apparel as the technology chip inside the apparel shirt that could able to predict your body condition, BP, pressure, heartbeat. Is it required? It's not a question of whether is it required or not, but today customer want it. Otherwise, today could not find the brand Apple. The Apple is the company where, if you talk about in early 1998, late, almost in the bankrupt. But how the company could able to reinvent the product? Apple Watch. Anybody tell me honestly, is it meant for to see your timing? No. Today the watch, the purpose of Apple, it talk about your complete medical list. It helps you to connect with everyone when the problem arises. That Apple has a DNA from since inception. They know how to reinvent their businesses. If I tell you the brand, probably you must be hearing first time, Kaba, Rio. You may not know the brand, what it is, which was Diamond Technologies, which was launched the product in the early 2000. Product miserably failed. But when you talk about intellectual portable over disk, that is iPod, the entire world said, wow, what a product it is. What the iPod made it? They brought the product cleverly, hardware and software component, and brought the finest ecosystem. That iPod became, in the year when they launched 2000, in the year 2003, the brand reached almost 150 billion. Majority sales come from the product called iPod. What this company has done, if we talk about over the product, that's what I said, don't give the product, try to give solutions. Today every company try to identify how I can able to give solution. I don't want shampoo, I want head and shoulder, dandruff. If you see every company try to reinvent themselves, if they give just a product, today they may not be the brand like L'Oreal, right? Because somebody talk about air fall, air split, air fill, many brands because customer want solution through the product. When you talk about the pricing, why iPod became success? Because the company tried to create a product with a product and they could able to capture the value and try to deliver it rest from the differentiating from the competition. That's what that became competitive advantage. When you talk about the pricing aspect, iTunes, you can download the song as per your requirement. Because in early 90s, how the music industry works, they completely changed the scenario. That's a great quality the company tried to do when they want to reinvent their businesses. It is not only the product like Mahindra or Apple, even that could be applicable. When I was writing a case, it became a bestseller in IV. That is that brand Jio. The company which focuses on core business come from that. That's why the brand Jio, right? Oil became a Jio. That's a mirror impact. The word oil to Jio. How the brand could able to deliver the product? He not necessarily could be a first mover. In fact, he entered late in the market. When they entered the market, 2015, India was not at all ranked in the top 100 as far as the data is consumption. And every time that we used to pay a hectic price for the voice. When they launched the product Jio, right? How they changed the industry? The company used to call Vodafone, right? Voice data phone. When this company created a product, made it voice as a free and data one of the lowest in the world. We pay per GB cost less than 6.5 rupees. I think if you go travel abroad, you know the value of the price what we pay. Because of that complete industry, completely transformed. Completely transformed. You know, that industry when it transformed, what happens? That industry could able to consolidate the market. Jio became debt free. But when the company made a statement, nobody could believe. Even post-COVID, this company could able to just diluting the 10% sales to that, that stake to Facebook, they could able to accumulate 45,000 crore. In fact, post-COVID, this company could able to leverage almost 1.5 lakh crore. And today, everybody, out of every one guy must be a third, might be using the product Jio. Not only Jio reinvented the businesses, how they could able to leverage the data into the business, it's became Jio Mart. What did Jio Mart talk about? Completely reinvented the retail business because retail means only two formats, brick and mortar, click and mortar. Every business has own pros and cons. When you talk about brick and mortar, almost in India, many of the retail brands struggled to survive, right? Because high rental cost. The physical retail has some that own pros and cons, benefit, drawbacks, right? Even if you have a physical store, it has a locational, that advantages when you talk about. This brand became click and mortar, the product, the physical rent has gone and the product reaches to your home. The customer value proposition completely changed. We talk about price, we talk about location, another reinventing the 4 P's, right? We talk about product. Now we talk about price we discussed. Now we talk about place. Very interesting factor, right? Today, when you talk about best Hollywood movies are made in Hollywood. Even people say, I want the best coffee, people say Georgia. Even people say, if we want to buy vodka, people say Russia. Even chocolates, people say Russia. Right? French, watches, French, automobile, Germany. Every country has its own advantage to leverage that, to differentiation as per the location. But today, how location became irrelevant. You don't need to go to Boston to mutual fund today. You can sitting at anywhere in the corner. That's why the company called Zogo, sitting at Tenkasi, could able to become top 4 company in the world. Could able to compete with a brand like Microsoft. Where is the company? Started from Tenkasi, Sridhar Vembu. Today what's happening is, location became irrelevant if you have a sound technology. If we talk about this question in particular, right? In fact, we have trained almost more than few thousand bankers in the last couple of years, right? If I ask you the out of the people, I'm not going to ask it. Everybody might be having bank account. How many people been to a branch if you ask the question more than 3 times in a month for the particular bank? Nobody. People goes to the world. I'm talking about the millennials. I'm talking about the youngsters. Who goes to the bank unless until is there any KYC issue or any online fraud? You have to go physically. Otherwise, does people go to the bank? What is the purpose of the bank when you talk about? Physical branches. Today people love to go to the bank for the banking transactions. But today if we talk about, are we going to the physical bank? Not at all. If I ask you how many people have more than $1,000 in your pocket, nobody. Then what is the purpose of bank? How do you want to be the future of the bank? Today, what will be the future if we talk about whether location became a strategy, how I can able to do it as far as the product is concerned. Today, what's happening is the conventional structure need to be redefined. The conventional may not be relevant for today's perspective. Not required 1200 square feet, 2 cash counter, receiver, paisa dena, lena. Right? 2 cash counter, manager, accountant, security, ATM. Because these are all the things that once upon a time we used to call, what is the strength of your business? People love to say, I have 50,000 people, right? I have 5,000 ATMs, 10,000 branches. The thing what you call strength, today's became liability. Because the business model what we talk about, is it necessary to reinvent your business? If we talk about the necessity of the reinvention of business, if we talk about today, business were changed. Today we talk about VUCA world, volatile, uncertainty, complexity, turbulent, tuna, Barney, right? RUPT, RUPT, many jargons, frameworks were emerged. You can't do the business the way what we have done, because the average shelf life of any businesses today, according to Schumpeter theory of innovation, reduced to less than 20 years. And today what's happening is, competition is not happening at the equal power. For an example, what does it mean when I said, when the competition happened and not at equal power? If I am getting a competition from Taj or from Leela, we know how to compete. Why? They invest on physical property, they know what business they are in. But today the competition which is coming from them, the technology company, today we call Uber model, Uberization, right? What we are talking about, today the way Uber could able to, or even OYO rooms, when you talk about Ritesh Agarwal, could able to accumulate more than 1 lakh keys, what normally the hotel does in the decade, you do it in an hour. And when you are a customer, we never see who is the owner, who is the property, what are the balance sheet. We just go to digital, social media, see the price, see the feedback, see the location, people book the rooms. Now, how do you want to make stay relevant? Today, what's happening is the changing consumer behavior. The consumer behavior is changing. And to stay relevant for tomorrow's business, today, you have to reinvent your businesses. We should know how to capture your value, try to deliver and try to, because if you see the world-class brand, miserably struggled. Nobody could thought of it, right? The world-class brand like a Nokia, Blockbuster, they never treated us as Netflix as a competitor. But 5 years down the line, what happened? Blockbuster became bankrupt. Today you know what Netflix is all about. In fact, when people talk about Netflix, how they acquired the customer base, something very interesting. How they entered accumulated during COVID, whatever they have done in a decade, it is done by few months by Zoom. Now we realize it. Even I use for today's session ChatGPT some extent. right? Because ChatGPT could be able to generate what they have done to acquire the customer in less than 5 days. Right? So what I would like to suggest that, right? Today we talk about, probably when I get my second time TEDx, how the consumer behavior is changing, right? How to make the customers to stay relevant. And today, whether can I have a single business model or dual business model. And today market is same, but how one people could able to extremely well, other people were struggling purely because of their business model. Indigo could able to survive. It's a myth. If you are in aviation business, if you want to become a millionaire, invest in billion. That is a global concept. That's what mentioned by the Porter. But today it is also true that if you could have a best business model, you can able to stay relevant. Whether you can have a single business model or dual. Probably Air India might be using dual business model, whereas that if you talk about Indigo might be using the business model what they do, because what they do, they talk about standardization. They could able to fine tune the end of the day, they are in the same business. They have the similar structure. But how they could able to extremely one fellow could able to do better? Why others people couldn't able to do? Purely because we talk about, right, that value proposition what we talk about. Online retail business have a different value proposition. That's why what we do, the branded like a Walmart, now why they took Flipkart for that much premium price? Because of the value proposition and the market size and growth and opportunity and the business model what Flipkart does. The product could able to reach to your physical place, to your place at a lower price than the conventional physical store, because the value proposition is high operating cost to low operating cost, right? And the physical store could able to attract the crowd from less than 3 kilometer or 5 kilometer or 7 kilometer, depends upon the nature of the format. Online retail will have a locational advantage, distance become irrelevant. See that the complete business model, how it is changing that. The complete ecosystem, value proposition. Today what we talk about, that's what I said, right? That Apple phone. Take the classic example. Many companies could able to reinvent their businesses, right? When consumerism changing. Today the business school model is getting a competition from online education, right? To stay relevant, whether we can go hybrid or pure play retailer, that you will have to check. I am sure this type of that interactive sessions will help us to understand the concepts better, to learn from everyone. And I wish once again thank you for the wonderful opportunity, and I enjoyed this discussion. Thank you.